Hello? Hello? Who's there? Whoa! Water! I do believe in spooks.
Sup, everybody. Welcome to Ghost Chat Radio.
Hello?
I am your host,
Hello? Who's there?
the Paranormal Diva, Jody Smith, and your other host, Jason Stanton, the Paranormal Rebel, is desperately trying to join us. We are experiencing a little technical difficulty for whatever reason. I keep dropping him off every time he tries to call in. I love you, Jay. Keep trying to call back. And we have a fantastic guest with us tonight, Mr. Steve DeChevy from the Dead Files. I know you've all been really looking forward to that. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Jody. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. My eyes are back
Good.
to normal, so I'm better now.
Live from sunny Florida, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I lived down in Fort Lauderdale forever, so I know you are so happy to be out of New York and loving it down there, aren't you?
I am, except that defensive driving takes on a whole new meaning down here.
You know, it's funny, but you thought it was defensive out of New York until you got down there. Yeah, I know it. I know it.
Oh.
You know, it's funny. I grew up, I lived down in Miami forever, and people, then I moved to Atlanta, and people were bitching about the traffic in Atlanta, how bad it was, and I said, yeah, wait, at least, people will slow down and let you in. In Miami and like in Tampa, they just speed up and flip you off there, right?
Yeah. Well, that plus,
Pretty much.
I love old people, but Jesus Christ, they just, they don't look, they just go. So you really got to be on the lookout for, like, they just pull out. They don't care. It's like, hey, I'm 90. I can give a shit. I'm going wherever the hell I want. I did my time.
Wait. Just wait. I had one in no lie. I lived in, I swear, it's like not to throw around names, like it's like Newark, Hallandale, it's like the armpit of South Florida. I had one old lady slam right in the broadside, and then at another point I had one rear end me. They really don't look, so you really have to look out for them. They'll just drive right into you, and then they'll say it's your fault, but they'll just slam right into the back of you if you don't get the hell out of the way. It's so true.
It does, it keeps you sharp, though. I tell you that. It does keep you sharp.
It does. And poor Jay, he is trying to call in. Keep calling, Jay. Every time
what
he calls,
happened?
I see it. I see his number light up on the board, and I try to pick it up. And as soon as I hit the button, it knocks him right back off. And Jay is calling in from New York. And I am actually just past New Orleans. I'm over in Baton Rouge. So
oh, okay.
And I didn't have any trouble picking you up at all. So
No.
I don't know why I keep kicking Jay off, but I know he's going to keep trying to call in. And so Steve will star as my lovely co-host for a few minutes until we get Jay
I can do
here.
that.
And yeah, and it'll be equally as explicit. I'm sure that you guys have all come to know and love from us. But I love it that Steve's one question of the day was, do I have to watch my language? And I was like, fuck no, we don't do that here. That never happens. Oh my God. So
yeah.
we usually start off the show with a couple of weird news stories, and one of them tonight, Jay picked out, and one of them I picked out. And so the first one comes from one of my favorite, very credible news sources, The Mirror. And I don't know if you follow The Mirror or the Huffington Post, but I usually like to find my stories there. And Jason's news story usually comes from someplace really, like, his comes from spirit science and metaphysics, or his will come from the Smithsonian or someplace, less credible than mine. But my story is sex can make your brain work better, according to scientists. And, a study has shown that there's a connection. Yeah, I mean, did you know this? There's a connection between your intelligence and your sex life. And, we have a lot of female listeners out there, and I would be willing to bet that tonight with you on, Steve, that probably a lot of the ladies are really tuning in. And I was very excited. I was so excited about being on the radio with you and Jason that I cracked open a Blue Moon beer, and I broke out a box of Good and Plenty at the same time. So
wow, you went crazy.
I mean, that was kind of crazy for me. I'm hitting the sugar and the beer at once, so that was a lot of excitement over here. But anyway, with the male audience that we have, we usually do try to, I knew that they would like this story. But hey, you guys, there's a connection between your intelligence and your sex life. So apparently keeping active under the sheets can keep your brain active for longer. And it appears that a good sex life can delay the onset of dementia in the elderly. So, did you know? I didn't know, but hey, if that isn't some good, hey,
I
get
have to
on
start
that,
working
people.
on that.
You better work on you and me both, Steve. I better get on that shit too, because I'm not getting any younger, And the test by the Dutch researchers were into elderly people found that a greater interest in See, already this is a problem. You can see that I'm losing my mind. So greater interest in sex correlated with greater brain activity and intelligence at the age of 71. And in addition, they had better memory, processing speed, higher intelligence, and general cognitive functioning. So the scientists say that if, Gran is living longer and seems really smart, like she's really with it, she's probably having more sex than you think. So, if Nana's really on it, hey, she might be a, happening old girl and really getting into it a little bit more than you think, according to scientists. And they're saying it makes you more intelligent at a younger age, too. And some studies from Italy actually back this up, that people who have sex daily were more likely to increase nerve growth in their brain. So, and I'm all about, getting more, neurological, conduction between the right and the left hemisphere of your brain. I'm really into meditation, Steve. So,
are you?
I love the, yeah, I'm really into that. So, it has changed my life. Yeah, I used to work, a corporate job. I worked for all the big cosmetics companies out of New York. I was a corporate trainer, and I traveled all over the country doing that, and I found that daily meditation, it really changed my life. I was under so much stress, all the time. It's really high pressure. It's big business. And, and I was working with both my hands, teaching, makeup artistry, and, you become more ambidextrous, and it really helps your thinking process when you can forge new neurological connections between the right and the left hemispheres of your brain. And certain types of meditation really help with that. But listen, people, if you don't like to meditate, people who have sex daily are also more likely to increase nerve growth of this type in their brain. So,
now, what if you mix the both? What if you meditate and have sex at the same time? Is that like you get double, the effort?
It doesn't say anything about that, but, this makes me think maybe a little tantra sex, right? Right?
That's what I'm talking about.
I like where you're going, Steve. I like where you're going. I have a book about that. I want to get that out and get back into that. But I like where you're going with this. So you guys might want to consider that, a little tantric sex. You can incorporate meditation. It's very soulful. And, think about what that's going to do for both your sex life and your brain. But, hey, they're also saying they did similar research with, of course, animals, mice and rats, and the University of Maryland showed. You ever notice that, in the U.S., they're talking about mice and rats, and in Italy, they're talking about people that have sex daily. They're really doing different tests depending upon what country you're in. But rodents having less frequent sex showed lower mental performance. So listen, people, sexual interaction, it's very helpful. So if you stay up all night having sex before work, just tell your boss that it's backed by science. You're becoming a genius. That's why you were late. I love that excuse, You were working on something. You're trying to get smarter. So, while sex maybe isn't going to get you a doctorate, it can make you perform better mentally. So, hey, I like this. What do you? I wish Jay was on. I know he would definitely have something to say about this. Jason, try to call in. I know he'll try to call back in again.
He's meditating right now, looking for somebody to have sex with. That's what he's doing.
He is. In fact. He says no one can hear. Hang on a second. I'm actually getting a message from Annette. Hang on a second. Saying that we are on the air. Let's see what the problem is here. No one can hear. Let's see. I'm sending out a message real quick here.
You mean we've been talking to ourselves?
I don't think so. I'm finding out. I mean, I know we're broadcasting through Blog Talk. It looks like everything is up and running okay. It looks like it's recording okay. Let's see. I'm going to check on... hang on. I'm on the blog. I'm finding out what the problem is here. It's running. We shouldn't be talking to ourselves.
You never know.
We could be. It looks like everything is on. They should have been able to hear us already. And, I mean, everything is on. I mean, we're on the switchboard. We're in through. It shouldn't be any reason why they wouldn't be able to hear us at all. So I don't understand what the problem is. It looks like, I mean, it's showing that we're on the air.
So the people in the chat room saying they can't hear?
Yeah, the people in the chat room are absolutely saying that they cannot hear us. No, and everyone is saying, we love Steve. There's no audio. They waited all day to hear. They don't even show that the show is running. And I'm just telling them right now, hang on. Steve is here. We are checking it. I'm not sure what the issue is. Yeah, there shouldn't be any issue at all, Steve. It's the station owner isn't in the room, and he should be in the room, but he isn't. I mean, literally, I just call in the same way. You know, I call in the same way that you do, but I can see the Blog Talk Radio. I can see the Blog Talk Radio. You know, I can see the screen, and so I'm looking at. I see your number. I see my number, and you know, I can see where the microphone is. It says that, you know, it says live. It shows that it's running. It shows, you know, how much time is left of the show. It shows that we're on the air. And so I don't know why that would be. It's so frustrating. And everybody was so excited that you're coming on the show. I'm so excited that you're on the show. I'm a big fan of your show, of course. And I know how hard it is for you to make time in your schedule. Okay, they've got the station owner. Okay, good. Yeah. I'm letting them know. Steve and I are waiting. But no one can hear. Did anybody say anything on Twitter that they can't hear?
I just looked and it was not on Twitter. But,
okay. Yeah, there's several guests in the chat room, and I think that they are some of them could be fans of yours from Twitter because they're saying I waited all day. We can't see, you know, what's happening. Maybe they'll have us call into a different number because he has they run us on, I don't know, like 6 different stations. This is just the only one that I can see.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it's very strange. Yeah, this is just the only board that I get to see. But the station is actually, DTM is actually based out of New York. Hang on. Let me see. Fat Daddy, can you hear us now? Can you hear anything? I'm saying something to one of our fans to see if he can hear anything. Yeah, I don't think he... Can you hear anything? No, he says no. So it's definitely not broadcasting for some reason. It's not anything... Yeah, it's not anything that we're doing, though, wrong. And that may be the reason why it didn't. There must be a glitch.
Why?
And I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's why. And I saw he actually tried to dial in like 6 times. I didn't have any trouble picking you up. Like as soon as you dialed in, I hit the button, and you could hear me right away, right? You could hear the music right away.
Yeah, I mean, I was on there for a couple of minutes before you picked up, but you did pick up.
Okay. Because as soon as I hit the button for the music, I hit the button for the intro to play. I heard it right away. You know, so it seems like it was broadcasting, and you know, then we just hit another button, and it's, you know, it just stops when it's finished. And normally, you know, we just come right on.
Right.
So it's very, very, very strange. I don't know why this would not be working. It's really odd. what they're doing about it. I know they're trying to do something. I'm thinking they're maybe going to have us.
What, like hang up and call back in?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, let me ask them. Okay, what should Steve and I do? Should we hang up? Okay. We are just sitting here. I'm not sure if it's recording.
We're always at the mercy of these friggin' things, aren't we?
Yeah, I think Jason is trying to hack into it right now. He's somehow hacking into it. Steve, do you want me to oh, he's listening to part of it now, I guess. He's figuring out. I guess he's on with support. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that we're having you just sit here.
These things happen. What are you going to do? Besides, keeps me out of the bar at night.
What a bummer. Okay. Right now. And then can you call or no? No, I think Jason wants us to do the show.
Okay. So would it be a recorded show?
I think so. I think it's recording. I think he said it's recording.
Okay, but nobody's listening.
Can you hear it? Yeah, I don't know. I guess he wants us to do it. Let me ask him if he can hear it. Oh no, he can. He's listening. Yeah, he said he can hear it. Okay.
All right, so fans are listening? Are they?
Yeah, so I guess so. Yeah, I guess he put up a different link so that they can listen. Okay. Okay, cool. I hear music. Please do a sound if I can hear. Okay, we are on now, though. Can you hear us now, Jason? Jay, so can you hear? Jason, are you there?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so we can hear you. So you are there. All right. So you hacked in. So we're live. Are we live now?
I believe so. We've been live.
Oh. So we've been talking to ourselves.
Okay. Well, Steve and I had a great conversation. Steve and I had a great conversation. We'll just have to crop out. We'll have to hack out part of that show. But Steve and I had a great conversation about sex and your brain and how it makes you smarter and forging new connections between the left and the right hemisphere of your brain. So I don't know if you're able to go back and listen to that part of the show and crop out the part of it where we weren't saying anything. But and I don't know if you want to talk about the Harvard neurosurgeon confirming the afterlife exists, or maybe we just go ahead and interview Steve.
Steve, while you were talking about the sex, did she talk about how perky her breasts are?
No, she did.
You know,
Never mentioned that.
You know, I didn't get to talk about that part.
You know, I'm supposed to that right out there. Did she talk about teabagging, Steve?
No, I'm all about perky breasts, though. I'm into,
you know, I like to let you talk about that. You know, I did try to post new pictures on Facebook this week, though, that, you know, kind of, you know, highlighted my boobs. You know, I did try to get to that, Jason. You know, I did try to get to that. And, you know, I did have a new show opening line this week that I didn't really get to say because you weren't on there, Jay, and I was saving it for you. But, you know, I was going to say I was the ghost hostess with the most tits, you know. That was for you.
Oh, okay. It's all good.
It's for you. Yeah, it is all good. Anyway, we missed you at the beginning of the show, absolutely. But, yeah, a lot of people really, really excited that we're really, really waiting for this interview. And at any rate, you know, sex. We determined that, you know, sex makes you smarter, and we should all definitely be having more of it. Absolutely.
I have my doubts on that, Jody. I have my doubts, and I'll tell you why. Because a guy can't think straight when two heads are swollen. Just can't. True story.
Maybe this only works for women, but you know, then we were talking about, you know, how meditation also can make you smarter, and then, you know, Steve mentioned, you know, if we could just do it both together, and so then what about, you know, that whole tantric sex meditation thing? So you might want to think about getting into that, you know, if you have a, you know, freaky girlfriend. If, you know, one of your freaky, you know, if your girlfriend's freaky, I don't really know her, but, and I don't know how freaky she is, but, you know, she can be. So maybe. But yeah, so maybe if you're having sex, you might be a genius. You might be. And you can definitely use that. That might be why I'm not
as intellectual as I wish I was.
Well, you are fairly smart. You're a pretty smart guy. But
let me think. Does having a sexual experience with yourself, does that qualify?
Oh, but I'm definitely in genius category there. I'm golden. Then I'm golden. I'm over 100 apparently.
You know, it doesn't really touch on that, but it does say interaction. It does say sexual interaction. So, you know, I already posted a story on course, where you can always find our stories on the Ghost Chat Radio fan page on Facebook, where our fans love talking weird stories. But I knew that our mail listeners would appreciate this story. And, of course, we have a lot of them. Yeah. And I did, of course, mention the fact that I love it when there's two good-looking guys on the show on the same night. So I, you know, feel like I'm on a sandwich. You know. Yeah. It gives me that double stuff feeling. You know. Yeah.
Well, we have Jody in the movie.
You know. Yeah. So, because you know you're up north and Steve's down south. You know. All that jazz. Yeah. Anyway, since we've wasted a little time, I think we could save the Harvard neurosurgeon story for next week or a different day. It's already on the Ghost Chat Radio fan page. And I think we should just get right into it since the fans have really been waiting. And everybody, you know, a couple of people had asked, you know, everybody is saying that they can hear both of us now. And, of course, Steve has been with us since the very beginning tonight. He opened the show. He opened the show with me, everyone, as my co-host, as Jay wasn't able to dial in right away. And, you know, we're going to go ahead and start talking to Steve. So, anyway,
is all Steve.
You know, what?
I said we're going to learn everything that is all Steve.
We're going to learn everything about Steve, absolutely. And, you know, we already talked about how happy he is that he's no longer freezing his balls off up there in New York with you guys. And,
That sucks.
You know,
I wish I had a friend up here.
Yeah, he's down. I know you're somewhere close to what, the Tampa area or the Tampa Bay area down there.
No.
Which is
I'm in Fort Myers. I'm in about 12
hours. I love Fort Myers. That's a great area. I used to go down there and work all the time. Even better. Even a little quieter.
Great little city. Yeah, people are great. It's a great place.
When did you leave the city, Steve?
I moved down here in September last year, so been down here for a bit. But it was a little tough. It was a logistical nightmare because I was still filming during the move, and it was nuts. It was just crazy.
Nice.
Wow.
And
yeah,
Steve,
but
you're actually a detective, right? At one time, or
retired NYPD detective.
Long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. How much schooling did you have to do to obtain that kind of career?
Schooling? School in the streets of Brooklyn. That's the schooling I went to. It's changed now. I mean, they want these new guys to be college educated, which I think is bullshit. Because most college grads couldn't find their ass with a map in their back pocket. But
I agree.
It is what it is.
I agree. I think one of the biggest problems that this country is facing right now is that our government is trying to push everybody to go to college and go on to these careers. Now the problem with that is it's a good thing, believe me. I'd love to see people go to school. However, we're getting overpopulated with specific fields. Employees and not enough jobs. So, I mean, you take something like a cop. There's only so many cop jobs that are out there that you're going to be able to get educated for. You got 1 million people going to school to learn how to be a cop, but there's only 1,000 jobs out there.
First of all, that whole
people work at McDonald's.
Yeah, the whole nonsense of learning how to be a cop in the classroom is bullshit. That's not how it works. I talk to people all the time on Facebook. They're like, "Oh, I want to be a homicide detective. I want to be a crime scene person." Well, you got to walk a foot post for about 5 years, then work your way into a radio car, then work your way into plainclothes and tonight. You think you just wake up and you're going to be a homicide detective? That's not how it works.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. I know. You got to climb the ladder for one, and for two, it's better off if you know the area that you're working at and know the people that's in that area. Going to school is not going to teach you that, in my honest opinion. You literally got to know the psychological state of the people inhabiting that particular town that you're patrolling or whatever the hell it is you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's TV doesn't help either. I mean, the crap they put on, these crime scene these shows they got on. People think you get a fingerprint off an eyeball. I mean, that stuff don't matter. It's a lot of nonsense.
I'm sure you can agree that when it comes to TV production companies are a bunch of fucking fools, and they're going to do whatever they can to ensure that they have a product that people are going to watch, because they're looking at a nice big fat ass fucking paycheck in their fucking wallets.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's all about. I mean, for them, that is really what it's all about. And, it's a shame. I'm all for everybody going to school. I think kids need an education, but and I have a daughter, I'd like her to go to school, but you want to know, it is sad because even, I had so many of these kids working for me that, were out of school. I mean, I had girls with master's degrees working for me, behind the counter. I was a cosmetics manager for Bloomingdale's. I had girls selling perfume working behind the counter that, went to school for 9 years to get a master's degree in, all kinds of things. And, that's kind of sad. I was paying them, $10, $11, $12 an hour, to sell perfume because they can't get a job. They can't get a job.
No, it's sad. I mean, I was very lucky.
Yeah, it is.
I got a GED and I was still able to get a city job. But, that's a different time. You thought 30 years ago. I mean, things are different today. I mean, today, 30 years ago, if you had a, 2-year degree, you were okay. Then you needed a 4-year degree. Now without a master's, you're screwed. So,
you can't do nothing.
They have to. They have to have a master's now, yeah.
And the government keeps pushing everybody to go to school and coming up with these regulations where, education's always going to prevail over the person that doesn't have the education. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I prefer to have a doctor cutting me open that's been doing it for 20 years. I don't care if he just has a high school diploma, as opposed to someone who's fresh out of college. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I went to school. I have a bachelor's degree, but I didn't need a master's degree. Back then, I'm of a certain age, and back then we didn't need a master's degree, and I got far. I worked my way up the corporate ladder. We didn't need a master's degree back then, to do what we wanted to do. But it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's all It's
yeah.
Apparently nobody heard us introduce the guest tonight, so ladies and gentlemen, we do have Steve. How the hell do you pronounce your last name, Steve?
That's Deshavi.
Deshavi. Steve Deshavi. That's what we have on the line.
I said it right.
I'm not good with pronunciation. I'm not good with
From
a lot
the Dead
things,
Files. From the Dead Files.
Yeah, from the Dead Files. I know the Dead Files, and I know who's a part of it, and so forth and so on, and I know Steve's a part of it, and so forth. But I was never big on watching too much of the TV shows. I stopped watching like 8 years ago because, quite frankly,
I love the Dead Files.
It was one of the better shows. I'm not going to lie, but about 8 years ago, all the shows started to become a lot more commercial than what the hell they really needed to be.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of it strayed me away.
Yeah. I like it because it's different. They have a whole different approach to the way that they do the show.
That's what I like about Dead Files.
I really like the Dead Files because it's a whole different spin. It's not really the same approach, and so it is entertaining and fun to watch because it's different. I like that Steve never really has any interaction at all with the scene until really the reveal. I like that whole thing about the way that Steve does all of the research and all the interviewing, and then he connects at the very end, really, with Amy's client at the reveal. So I like that approach. It's something completely different. Nobody else does it that way. It's really interesting.
Yeah, there's no other show on TV that's like ours. I mean, I wouldn't have did it if it was going to be a regular. I wanted nothing to do with paranormal investigating because that's not what I do.
Right.
Obviously, I'm interested in it, or else I wouldn't be on the show.
Right.
But it's I'm not interested in paranormal investigating as much as I'm interested in the big picture.
The historical factor and digging up the more research as opposed to going out there with the cameras and recorders and so forth and so on.
Yeah, I mean, Amy's all about that stuff. She's interested in there's certain aspects of an investigation to use it, but I mean, why would I need that? Why would she? She actually talks to dead people. What the frig am I going to do with is there a ghost in here? She's seeing the goddamn ghost. So what difference does it make if you have a meter telling you there's one in there? People always say, why don't you use these machines?
That's one of the biggest controversies when it comes to paranormal investigating. Personally, I when it comes to certain things, fine, having a psychic is good because it doesn't really matter. However, if you're going into a particular residential case where a lot of them want the evidence that led you to believe what's in the house as opposed to having a psychic saying, well, this is what's here. Okay, well, what's your proof? What led you to believe that? You know what I mean? A lot of people like that. And that's why it's good to try to be diverse when it comes to, what you utilize in an investigation and how you utilize it.
Right. I mean, I don't begrudge all these paranormal groups that go out there. I'm actually friends with a lot of these paranormal groups. A lot of these venues want me to come out. Yeah, a lot of these venues want me to come out and go on a ghost hunt. And it's not my thing, but I do it because it teaches me what paranormal investigators are doing out there. So when I go into a location, I say, listen, do you have any paranormal investigators here? Yeah, I did. We had 2 teams. All right, what did they do? Now, because I've been on a couple of these things, if they tell me stuff, now I can relate to it. I know what the hell that she's talking about, he's talking about. I don't like going into any case blind. Knowledge is power. So for me, the more I know about what's happening, and this is only to relate it to Amy. It has nothing to do with my curiosity. It has to do with me doing a thorough investigation. So.
Yeah. That's cool. So what sparked your interest in being involved with the paranormal?
I didn't have any interest in being in the paranormal. I was approached by the creator of the show if I would be interested in doing it. He had
approached me about 10 years ago. Well, not 10 years ago. It is about 10 years ago. About 2006, he approached me, 9 years ago, about doing television and nothing to do with the paranormal. And we did a few pilots to try to get me on television. He had seen me on a documentary for the NYPD by ABC News, and he wanted to put me on television. So basically, I got a phone call asking me if I was interested in doing TV. So nothing panned out. All the networks said I was too New York for them. They were looking for the next dirty jobs type guy, regular, middle of the road type of person. And I was too street. They just considered me too rough around the edges. But
I think you speak so well to people, and you come across as so sincere, and you know what I mean when you talk to them. Like people.
Well, you're talking about network executives. Yeah. But you're talking about network executives that can't look past. I wasn't filmed in that content. I was filmed doing investigations. So I guess they didn't. They never saw that side, and that's understandable. I mean, I come across. I mean, if you saw me on the street and saw me on the show, it's two different guys. I talk to clients on our show like crime victims. The perpetrator being the paranormal. So the way I would talk to a victim on the street is how I talk to my clients. Now, how I talk to a living perpetrator is a totally different ballgame. Then you're going to see a different side of me. But that doesn't come up in the that won't come up in the show too often. Not at all, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, that side of me is never going to come up. Unless somebody pisses me off, which for the most part. Yeah, for the most part,
because you're kind of so sympathetic. Yeah.
Well, you got to be. I mean, that was the only way to get victims on the street. I mean, you're talking about over 20 years of experience in doing that. So just because they're victims of the paranormal doesn't change the fact that they're victims. You feel, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, that's so true. They're upset.
At any time while you were doing the show and being in some of these more notorious places of, that's desired by many to go investigate, have you yourself ever had any kind of weird experience speaking in it, whether it may or may not have been paranormal, just something that, you really didn't have an opportunity to try to check into?
No, not a thing. As a matter of fact, it's strange because I would wonder why myself, spending so much time in these places that are haunted, why I wouldn't be affected somehow.
That is really interesting.
Well, I was told by not one, not two, but 5 different mediums that I'm a diffuser. I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. It was explained to me. I was up in Ocala, and it was really explained to me. It's not that I'm a bad guy or I'm a good guy. It's neither. It's just that when I walk into a room, if there's any paranormal there, it leaves. So, and they don't know why. But when we were doing that,
this is what I think. I think it's I think what they did, in my honest opinion, is basically beginner rookie cop profiling. I mean, we got to face it. You're a detective in some way, or we're a detective or store or detective. You've been trained to check things out. You've been trained to tune out most of your crap. Needless to say, your psychological state isn't going to be opening to paying attention to paranormal stuff when you're looking at more physical evidence than anything.
That's 110% right. I mean, people say to me, don't you? I'm not worried about the paranormal when I go into these places. I'm talking to the victim. I look at the house or the location or the restaurant, whatever the hell we're doing, movie theater or whatever the case may be, the venue. I look at it as a crime scene. I don't look at it to catch a spook in the corner, or a shadow going across a room. I want to see what the hell, first of all, I'm in there trying to see if they're full of it. Because, they're telling me I see something here, but I saw it from this room, and I saw it on this wall, and then I put myself in that position. I'm like, well, how the hell can you possibly see this? If you're at an angle that you couldn't have seen it.
You're the ultimate skeptic. Yeah. You're the ultimate skeptic. You really are. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, what it is. I'm not a skeptic of the paranormal or Amy. I mean, I'm 110% Amy.
No. Yeah, that's
but
not what I meant.
I am a skeptic of people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because I find when you go, because I find when you go into these places is, you know, if they had paranormal experiences and it's legit, I get it. But then they blame everything on the paranormal. I mean, you know, the light went out, the ghost did it, you know, and I'm like, no, you just have bad phone. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Right.
100%.
Or those groups where everything's got to be demonic. Some of those groups, which it's, you know, off the chain. Come on.
I agree. I've been searching for ghosts for the last 20 years, and I'm in kind of the same boat as you, Steve. I mean, I have witnessed and seen some weird shit throughout my time.
Oh, yeah.
However, my mind is still set on that more investigator type of scenario where, you know, I'm actually looking for hardcore evidence that it exists as opposed to, you know, every little thing turns into paranormal. So I go into some of these more notorious buildings out there like Penhurst, Rolling Hills Asylum, and, you know, Izzy Borden Bed and Breakfast. And I've been in so many locations that are out there, and I've never gathered as much paranormal events that you see on TV, that most of these other people have encounters, the stories that you hear. And I'm like, why is that? Well, I can tell you why, because someone farts and they smell a little bit of sulfur and they say, oh, my God, that's a ghost. No, it's not. You farted, you fucking pig. You know?
It's true.
It's true.
Because they are desperate. They're desperate to find something, and you can't. You can't take that approach. You really can't. I mean, some people are desperate to find something.
You can't that happen. Someone trips and falls or whatever the case is because they're paying attention to their fucking phone while they're walking through the dark in some abandoned building, and automatically they got to say, something pushed me. No, you didn't, you asshole. You weren't paying attention to where you're going, and it's dark out.
Right.
I mean, it is.
You know, but, you know, for the most part, that, you know, our people that we use as, you know, our clients they're not into the paranormal. They're just stuck with it.
No.
You know, so for them, it's, and it kind of sucks for them when they do get a paranormal group to come in and investigate, and they're only there to get their jollies off and not really help these people.
Yeah, I agree. And that happens a lot.
Or they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing sometimes.
Well, they watch TV and they say, oh, I can do that. So automatically they just jump into, you know, doing exactly what they see on TV. Now, whatever you see on TV is not helping clients. What they're doing is basically getting their jollies off of it. You know,
or making it worse.
You know, Ghost Adventures. When the fuck did you ever see the Ghost Adventures help a fucking client? It hasn't happened yet. You know what I mean? So that's what they're watching, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad for some of these people, and we go in with it kind of like their last hope, and it breaks my heart because, you know, they look at me. We just did a case in Kentucky, and southwest part of Kentucky. And when I had spoken to the woman on the phone before we went out there, you know, just listening to her sob on the phone, you know, was bad enough. But then when I finally met her in person, such sweet. I mean, just, you know, salt of the earth people that you just want to take, hug them, and just make everything better for them. It's just so hard when I have to depend on Amy to give them answers. I wish I could give them the answers right there and then, but I can't. You know, that's the whole part of our investigation. Yeah. But you know, Amy always comes through one way or another. She comes through, and hopefully these people can find some peace.
She does. She tries really hard. She really does try hard. I see that with her.
Yeah, I mean, it's a twofold. You know, it's two investigations going on. So.
Oh yeah.
You know, and Amy really doesn't. A lot of stuff she finds or she sees or encounters, she has no clue what the hell it's all about until I tell her, well, maybe it's this, and she's like, well, that makes sense to me now. You know.
Yeah. And then it sort of weaves together at the end, you know, to sort of tell the story, so that you can come up with some kind of a solution for these people. And it's all. I mean, to me, it's fascinating. It's always really interesting how the story comes together. At the end.
Yeah.
It really is.
We just finished our 88th episode, and
wow.
I get asked all the time, you know, I'm still amazed by Amy. I mean, how can I not be? I mean, every week she's knocking it out of the park, and I'm just like, Well, really? You did what? You actually, it just. I don't get shocked by much because I've seen and done it all.
No.
I'm not shocked by her, but I am fascinated and like just engulfed in the whole. How does she do this thing? I don't ever want to become complacent and say to myself, well, how come she's going to find what's going on here. I never want to get to that point, but she amazes me every week.
Wow.
Have you ever came across at least one situation where Amy wasn't exactly 100% on the right on the number?
Oh, I'd say every week she's not 100%, but we don't portray it that way. I'd say she's.
No psychic can be 100%.
Yeah, well,
no.
It's the way when she sees something, she doesn't know why she's seeing it or who she's seeing. When I put it together for her, it makes sense to her. That part's 100%, but like some weeks, maybe she'll find one thing, but the rest of the stuff has nothing to do with any of the history I encountered. So that doesn't match up. So we don't try to stick around peg into a square hole, you know what I'm saying? So we try to do, listen, you didn't see it, you didn't see it. So we've been fortunate that, for the most part, she does hit on at least some of the stuff. But, if she doesn't, she doesn't. We don't try to do it that way. If she does, she does. But for the most part, the history has been lining up,
That's very honest, Steve, because I say I have intuitive ability. It runs in my family, and I say that all the time. Any psychic that says, oh, I'm 100% all the time, they're lying because none of us can be 100%. We don't always know what it means, and we can't be 100% all of the time. It just doesn't work that way, and I like that about her. I find her to be honest that way. It's like you said, you can't always know what it's about. You can't always make it fit. So I actually, people would say whatever they want, but I actually really like that, about her. And she, and I like that you guys never talk about it until the end. So I think that's a good thing. I always wonder about you never know, if the people really took the advice that you guys gave them, sort of after the show ends.
Well, that's why we started doing those. That's why we started doing those revisit episodes.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I saw.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a great concept because it's like I'd want to know as a fan watching how they did. I mean, you only know because we give them a call a couple of months after we leave there. What's going on? And if things haven't changed, or if they said, well, we decided not to listen to Amy, whatever the case may be. Or we're in the middle of working on it, and then. When you go back and people see the first episode and they mix it in with the revisit, it's pretty cool. People, I get comments on Facebook after a revisit airs. Oh, I was always wondering about that couple. I'm so glad they did well. That kind of thing.
Yeah. What's the craziest? What was your? I don't know. What was the wildest case that really sticks in your mind that you guys? I mean, I know you guys have had a lot of seasons, but there's got to be a case or a couple cases that were just crazy that really stick in your mind as being really interesting.
I mean, for me, the interesting stuff is whenever there's like the Santa Fe prison to me was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I found Alcatraz incredibly interesting. The Lizzie Borden case for me, the specials we did. I mean, I found that interesting because it was for me, and now I'm being a little selfish about it. For me, it was almost like investigating a homicide again. It's a cold case. Yes, so that's the kind of the stuff that sticks out for me. Now for Amy, it's different. Amy's like the worst walk she would have had, where she was really physically attacked. And for me, it's what was the best investigative case where I can get into talking to cops about a murder case that's involved with the location we're at.
Right.
So
now,
for me, that's
I was just going to ask you, in your honest opinion, after doing the Lizzie Borden house, is Lizzie Borden guilty or not guilty?
110% she's guilty. And there's nuts up there that and there's people up there that insist she didn't do it. If that case happened today, because they screwed that crime scene up, something terrible. And I got a hold of a lot of information that's not open to the public, just randomly. We could just go look at it. It takes a lot to get to this information.
Yeah.
And the stuff that when I got into it and I talked to the attorney that did the retrial, the mock trial.
Oh wow.
Like the axe that they said was the murder weapon. That wasn't the murder weapon. They just picked up a friggin' axe and they moved the father's body so they could take a picture of it. I mean, a lot of stuff that happened was just ridiculous. They found gold leaf flaking that you'd find on if you buy a new axe back then, they covered the blade with gold leaf so that it would protect it. They found gold leaf in the mother's skull. Okay,
oh wow.
Skull.
Come on.
All right, but yet
yeah.
they said the axe that killed her was a 15-year-old axe that had rust on it. I mean, and she had just bought an axe. She was seen purchasing a new axe 3 days prior to the murder. So there's so many other things that just point right to it. I mean, timelines. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And when you talk to people that are so like, oh, she didn't do it. It was a crazed gunman or some crazed man came in and all. I'm like, all right, whatever. I've worked. I think I've worked enough homicides to kind of put a picture together. And I think in today's, if that happened today, she'd be found guilty. I mean, even if she didn't confess to it, which she didn't. I mean, her sister. They paid. You can't imagine the amount of money they had. An ex-governor. Actually represent her during the trial. So, there was some serious money there because they got the money from the father,
Yeah. Well, and I believe there were some other wealthy families in Massachusetts, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they didn't live that way because the father was a cheap, he was pretty much a cheap bastard. He didn't want to give up any money, but, for the most part, they lived modestly.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. So you're saying that particular crime scene may have been tainted during the time that it happened?
It was tainted. Not only was it tainted, it was just poorly run. I mean, the Villisca Axe murder house that we did the case there as well. That was another one that was very interesting to me, and I believe they had the guy that did it, and it was just a travesty that he wasn't found guilty. And if you get into the nitty-gritty of that case and how that whole crime scene was destroyed, it was just, there were similar murders to it in the same towns that this guy would happen to be, being a roaming preacher, just happened to be in. How convenient that these same similar murders were happening all throughout the Midwest, exactly where this same guy was. It looks like a horse, it smells like a horse, it's a horse. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Interesting. But, that's just one homicide detective's opinion. And, there's opinions are like assholes. Everybody knows that. But, if I get asked a question, I'm going to be, if I have an opinion, I'm going to tell you. And if you don't like it, it's too bad,
Yeah. Oh, I agree. That's the way you should be. So,
very cool.
When you did the Villisca murder house, what kind of evidence did you manage to dig up throughout, the records and so forth and so on?
Well, I got a hold of the archives on all the court records, which are pretty intense. And then I talked to the attorney that did the retrial, the mock trial, and he got a hold of every piece of evidence. And, the statements from the initial cop that came to the scene. They didn't even have a crime scene investigator. They got a local photographer to come take photos. They did
really?
half-ass autopsies. They say the cop seen her through the window burning the dress the day after the homicide in the basement. Stuff like that. The general public doesn't have little information
I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, she said she was up in another part of the house or above the garage area eating an apple. You didn't hear the screams of, I mean, it's just, there's a laundry list of stuff I can go over, but it's just, for me, looking at it, and with the timeline and everything else, no, not at all. That's great. That's a busy street.
That's really interesting and cool. That's a real perk of doing this job, that you've been able to really investigate like that, places that you would never have gotten to check out. I mean,
100%, yeah.
How cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really fortunate that I've been to every state in the country except for North Dakota.
Wow.
Between doing the show and my own travels, but
oh yeah,
the only
cool.
the only state I haven't been to, so there's that. People, I mean, the traveling does suck. Don't get me wrong, but that part of doing the show is really good. Yeah, it takes a toll on you.
It does. I did it for work for a long time too. It does. I mean, it is fun, but it can get old living out of a suitcase after a while. But you're getting some breaks. But hey, you might want to get out there to North Dakota. I think there's a gold rush going on up there right now.
I know there's an oil rush going on. Yeah, there's an oil rush too.
Yeah, there's some stuff happening out there. You might want to take a peek out there. But I'm one of the few people that I'm friends with that hasn't actually gotten out to Liz Borden house. I'm gonna have to do that this year. There's always some cool events happening up there and overnights, and I'm gonna have to fly out there and happen onto that scene. I need to check that out. I think I would really enjoy checking that out.
Yeah, it's an interesting house. I wouldn't go in the winter though. I mean, it was cold as hell.
No, I won't do that. No, I'll wait till that blows over and then I'll come on up. I'll check out. Jason said he's got some events happening out in New York probably at some point this year, so I'll make the rounds to a couple of cool places when I fly out there.
Well, actually, I do. Next month I will be at Smalley's Inn, which Steve actually did
Smalley's.
Go to that place.
Yeah, my buddy's
doing a book signing, so I have that. I've got a couple other things in the making yet. I'm not ready to announce those ones yet, but they are in the making.
Yeah.
And
cool.
When I'm ready to announce them, I definitely will. But I can't wait to go to Smalley's and check that place out.
So you haven't been there yet?
I mean, no, I haven't. I've never been to Smalley's.
Yeah.
It's not that far from me. It's like an hour and a half, something like that. But
it's a
I
really
can't wait
cool
to go there.
spot. Yeah, it's a really cool spot. The owner, Tony's a great guy. It's just, it's funny, too, because I ran into a couple of fans at the Paracon up in Lake George last May. And they when I was still living in New York, I moved down there, we kept trying to get together to go there and meet for lunch, but with my schedule, things didn't work out. But it would have been been fun to go to a place with a couple of fans that I investigated at.
Yeah.
I try to meet fans whenever I'm on the road. I always, if some one way or another, I'll put out that I'm in Kentucky or I'm in, Missouri somewhere. If a fan comes on Facebook says, "Hey, can I meet you?" I have no problem going out and meeting with a fan. I mean,
I do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, if I have the time. I mean, I only have I have a day and a half off. So it's not a lot of time, but I try.
Yeah.
No.
I do the
that's
same
really
thing. Whenever I go traveling or something like that, I'll actually pinpoint my whole trip all the way down to where I'm going. So if any of my listeners, any of my fans, they want me to autograph a book that they bought of mine or whatever the case is, they can feel free to message me and say, "Hey, I'm not that far from you. You want to?"
Jesus, Jay. When Jay goes, oh my God, when Jay goes on a trip, you should see Jay's Facebook when he goes on a trip. It's like a diary. It's like a diary. Every 5 or 6 hours, there's a picture. I am at blah blah blah, and he leaves a whole poem about it. It's like, I mean, if you want to find Jay when he's on a trip, you can definitely find him. He is easy to track down for sure. For sure. I love meeting people too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, my biggest joy is meeting fans. I mean, I was at the doctor's office today at the eye doctor, and I posted some pictures. The girl that fan of the show. I knew she was a fan of the show when I booked the appointment, so I brought her an autograph photo when I went in, and then I took pictures with her when I was at work there. So, if I can, that's my way of giving back,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't tell people in advance where I'm going to be because Amy can't know where she's going. So it's usually by the time I get there, people are like, so, I can't really say where I'm at until I'm actually there.
Right.
And
you really can't.
And unfortunately, I can't post anything even in a private message on Facebook or Twitter because fans tend to not get it. Some of them just I heard Steve's going to be in, so.
No, you can't. I mean, you could say maybe what city you're going to go to, or a general vicinity.
Not even that.
You can't really give. No. Really,
not
that
even
bad.
We don't give. Amy doesn't even know the town she's going to. First of all, we never stay in the same town we're investigating. 95% of the time anyway. And
I didn't know.
She has no idea what city we're going to at all. She gets to the airport, she gets her ticket, then she knows where she's going. Where she's landing. Doesn't mean that's where we're going. And more often than not, we'll land, like we landed in Nashville. She may have thought we were going to Tennessee, but we wind up doing an investigation in Kentucky. You know, so so she never knows.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Which kind of sucks for her.
Well,
she's got to pack all kinds of leather.
Oh my God, yeah, that's true. Especially for a girl, you know, it's rough for us. We like to pack a lot of stuff, and I know Amy likes to dress. She likes to dress cute too. She's cute.
Yeah.
But well, boys, we're gonna have to cut for a break from our lovely sponsors. So I'm gonna have to put everybody on hold for a second while we kick into a commercial break. So now, a word from our sponsors. So hold on for just a second. About 5 minutes. We're gonna take a break.
Okay.
The Caring Coaching Center is a proud sponsor of DTM Wicked Radio Network. What would it mean to you to have better health, more energy, more vitality, and an all-around better life? At the Caring Coaching Center, our mission is to be your partner in helping you reach your health, fitness, and lifestyle goals. We do this through a dynamic 6-month program that helps our clients reach their goals and their full potential. And it all starts with a free, no obligation, 50-minute health history consultation. Just visit us at the www.thecaringcoachingcenter.com to schedule your free consultation today. Or you can go to www.dtmwickedradio.com, click the sponsor page, scroll down to the Caring Coaching Center tab, click on the tab and open up to the website to start your free consultation today. It's all here on dtmwickedradio.com. The historical Fort William Henry Conference Center and Resort is a proud sponsor of DTM Wicked Radio. If you're looking for a relaxing getaway, the historical Fort William Henry Resort and Conference Center is your destination. Come enjoy the beautiful mountains, the gorgeous lake, and everything Lake George has to offer in upstate New York, right off the Adirondack Mountains. For reservations, you can go to www.fortwilliamhenry.com or call 1-800-234-0267. The Fort William Henry Resort and Conference Center is your destination for the perfect getaway.
Rolling Hills Asylum. Located in East Bethany, New York, just minutes between two major airports, Rolling Hills Asylum is a hotbed of paranormal activity. They have been featured on Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures, Paranormal Challenge, as well as Sci-Fi Channel's Ghost Hunters. Rolling Hills Asylum has been named the #2 most haunted location in the United States by HauntedNorthAmerica.com. The property was established on January 1st, 1827, as the county poor farm. Throughout the years, it has operated as a poor farm, infirmary, orphanage, tuberculosis hospital, nursing home, and more. Past residents and inmates consist of widows, orphans, physically disabled, mentally unstable, murderers, and more. Over 1,700 bodies are buried in unmarked graves, and hundreds more deaths went undocumented. Rolling Hills Asylum is known for a plethora of phenomena, including disembodied voices, doors slamming, footsteps, sounds of furniture moving, full-body apparitions, shadow people, ghostly touches, and numerous Class A EVP. Rolling Hills Asylum proudly offers historical and flashlight tours, 4- and 8-hour public ghost hunts, 8- and 9-hour private ghost hunts, and more, by appointment or pre-booking only. For more information, please visit www.rollinghillsasylum.com. That's www.rollinghillsasylum.com. Or give them a call, 585-502-4066. That's 585-502-4066. Rolling Hills Asylum. What are you doing this weekend?
Sup, everyone. Welcome back to Ghost Chat. What the hell is that?
I have no idea.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Ghost Chat Radio. I am your host, the Paranormal Rebel, Jason Stanton. With me, as always, well, she started off the show. The diva is in the house, as always, and we still do have Steve DeChave in the house. So we are learning everything that is Steve, which is kind of cool. Steve's an interesting dude.
Well, I don't know
That's
about
all I got.
Yes,
but I am a dude.
he's interesting and a dude. This is the way I like him, and you guys know that about me.
Yeah, well, you're the double stuffing, so, I mean, hey, it's all good.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Paranormal porn. You're at
Hey now, I'm a classy girl. Classy
As
girl.
long as you're not teabagging, you're classy.
Hey now. You're so bad. You're such a bad boy. They know that though. They know I'm the nice girl. You're the bad boy. They know that. That's what they love about us. Absolutely. Absolutely.
We have the good investigator and the bad investigator. Kind of like good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, it kind of is a little good cop, bad cop on here. That's so true. So true.
It is. And then we
Although
have Steve.
there's no keeping you. It doesn't matter what I do. There's no keeping you in. There's no keeping him in line. There's no censorship. There's no redirecting. It doesn't ever happen. We could just forget about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're back with Steve, and he's telling us about some great investigations that he's done and what he loves about them, and some cool places that he has gone to and favorite places that he has loved. So interesting stuff for sure. Definitely. Yeah. So, Steve, let me ask you, they make it look quick on the show, but I always really wonder because you really put a lot into it, and you've always got really a lot of backstory. And I know you spend a lot of time at the library and going to all these different places to gather all the information that you're getting for your clients. How much time does it usually really take you to get all that information
to film it
together?
Yeah, I mean, we film about 80 hours of footage for an episode.
Yeah.
And
I wondered.
I probably filmed 65 hours of that, maybe more.
Wow.
Closer to 70. And my investigation starts at least 30 days a month before I even get to the location. Chain of title search and all that other stuff. And then me and the guy that works with me, Josh, we gotta line up everybody. I gotta try to line up at least 5 of each thing I may think I need, like 5 cops, 5 historians, 5 genealogists, 5 historians, stuff like that. And but if I think I may need to get a hold of an ancestor or somebody that lived there before. Usually, I try to get a hold of the people that lived there before ahead of time because a lot of these people don't want to talk to you. But it's a lot. It's a lot more involved than people think. I mean, there's only 42 minutes on air, but
that's why I know. I realize that with all the the intro and the commercial interruptions, and then of course they've got to show everything that Amy's doing, and the reveal at the end, and the interview with the client. There's only so much time for you to present all of this information that you're gathering and the evidence about the location, and then the evidence to the client. And I knew that there was so much time that you were putting into that. So I always think about it, and I don't think people, I wonder how many people that watch the show really think about how much
I can tell you right
time.
Now, the reveal itself takes 4 to 5 hours to film.
Yeah.
But
I'll bet.
It you can only put, who's going to want to sit to a 5-hour reveal? Nobody's going to want to watch it on TV. They would never do that. So it's just, it's a lot more. People think that we're at a location and that we film it, and then it's going to be on that week. It takes
right
4 to 5 months before it's a turnaround, and then Travel Channel may take maybe 3, 4, 5 months after that before it even airs. Like our season premiere is April. Yeah, our season premiere is April 25th. We filmed that season from August to December of last year. So people think that we're on.
I bet there are people. I know how it works, but I bet that there's. You're always kind of a season behind. I bet there are a lot of people that think you just filmed it last week and it's coming on this week.
Right. It's like I'll always post. We're in I'm in Mayfield, Kentucky, or I'm at Paducah, Kentucky. We're filming a new episode for the new season. They're like, is that going to be on this Saturday? I'm like, no. No, it's not going to be on this Saturday.
That's great. That's great.
It takes a little bit more than just.
Well, they don't. Yeah, they don't get it. But I mean, when you.
I mean, I love them to death, and I try to explain it, but sometimes it just goes in one ear and out the other.
Well, the easiest way to explain it is, look, there's 2 weeks of filming for one episode, and that's got to get edited.
Yeah,
Keep that in mind.
It takes 8 days. Yeah, it takes us 8 days to film an episode, and it takes 4 months before 4 or 5 months before it's edited.
Yeah. Now, have you ever had an episode come out? Now, I don't know if you can really say this on the air, but have you ever, let's say, been surprised after? And I've done like commercials, and I've done a little television in my younger days. Mm-hmm. Extra work, things like that growing up in Miami. Have you ever had something be edited in such a fashion that you were maybe surprised at sort of how it came across when it came out?
No, the only thing, not at all. That I got to say.
That's good.
What I get aggravated with, what I really get pissed about, is I'll interview somebody for an hour, and the only thing that I say during that whole interview is, "Wow." Or,
oh my God!
Well, you know what I mean. And that's the only thing.
Yes.
I'm like, I talked to this guy for an hour, and you only put "wow" in there. That's annoying.
Yeah.
Because it's as if I'm not doing my, it's like I'm not doing my due diligence. I'm busting my ass, and then But I get it. I do understand. The TV way things are done. And that used to really bother me, but it is what it is. I can't. Yeah, I have no choice. What am I supposed to do? I used to get. I almost didn't come back to season 2 because of stuff like that. I was just so aggravated by it. And I just, it just like I'm asking, 20 questions, 30 questions, and all I get out is wow.
And good questions,
that never get it to air. And then people are funny because I make a lot of funny faces. Well, I don't consider them funny, but I have my looks, and people usually comment, "Well, Steve, you don't really have to say anything. Your looks say it all." So
they do. They do.
Yeah.
That's like that's the thing for your show. To be honest with you, it's all about the looks.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I mean, and even in detective work, I used to give a look sometimes. I'm not saying work, but a big part of detective work is listening, and I do a lot of listening, but you got to ask questions, and just sometimes it just seems like I'm not asking any questions, and it's really not the case. And I don't blame anybody. I don't blame the editors. I don't blame anything for that. It's a TV show. There's nothing I can do about it. It's part of what I do. I got to suck it up, and it's funny because sometimes hey Steve, do you have any more questions? I'm like, why? What difference does it make?
All you're going to do is just say, wow.
Yeah, just to break chops a little. And I'm like, of course I got more questions. You know me better than that. I'm just breaking chops. And, we got a great crew. I love these guys. We're a family on the road. I mean, there's 14 or 15 of us now.
Wow.
And we travel on the road together, and, we're in the same hotel. Amy stays in a separate hotel from us, me and the crew, but we all, we sleep, we sleep in the same hotel. We go to breakfast together. We were eating together. It's, these guys really work hard. We have a great, yeah. These guys work hard, though. Because they're filming 2 shows in one. They got to film Amy as well. So
when they're not filming me, they're filming Amy. So these guys are working way more than me and Amy are. And so when we have that little bit of downtime, you always see me post pictures of us out bowling or just hanging out. I try to give back to these guys and take them out for a few drinks after work. And but it's tough.
I have seen pictures like that. Yeah, I have.
Yeah, we have a good time. I mean, we're a dysfunctional family, but we have a good time.
You have to. You guys, you need that downtime when you're working and you're on the go, like, go like that.
Yeah.
You need it.
And then the traveling. I mean, we went from the beginning of the season that we just started. I mean, we went from Butte, Montana to Paducah, Kentucky, so we're crossing the country in bad weather and all this other stuff and, dealing with it. But, we're so, I mean, these guys are pretty good because they're so tuned in. I mean, we've got the same 3 cameramen for the last 70 or 80 episodes.
Oh, so you're doing good. Yeah, there's hardly any turnover in our crew, which is unheard of in the TV world, from what I understood.
Yeah.
We've had the same, we've had the same DP since the first episode, director of photography, and then, it's just. It's I don't know the business, but my showrunner and the executive producer say that it's unheard of. We've had a couple of people move on for bigger and better, but if they didn't have that opportunity, they would have never left. We've had people come back. They left to try to go do something, to encourage their, make their career better, and they've come back because they they realize what a good
feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's, and I love these guys, and I break. Listen, I'm a ball breaker. Trust me. When I'm on, I break their balls like there's no tomorrow. But I also tell these guys if I don't break your balls, it means I don't like you. So when I'm quiet for somebody on the crew, they'll look at them and say, "Maybe he's not messing around with you." All right. Well, don't get comfortable then.
I'm the same way.
I'm actually the same exact way. I will fuck with someone until they give out. Yeah. And it's all out of pure fun and games, and it's my way of saying, dude, you're awesome. I like you. Yeah. I mean, and they tell these people before they hire them, listen, you can't take a joke or you're too PC that everything's got to be on the up and up. Don't bother coming on the show because it's not happening. I'm not a PC guy. I'm not abusive or anything like that, but I don't believe in the whole. I'm uncomfortable with that. That makes me feel uncomfortable. Get the hell out of here. And I'm from the street. If you can't deal with that type of guy, if you're used to, Dr. Phil, go back to Dr. Phil. You know what I mean?
That's
the way I advertise my show, actually. I say, if you're politically correct, don't bother fucking listening to this because you're going to get offended somewhere. You will get offended.
I mean, you can't, listen, everybody's off color every once in a while. Nobody always means harm by it. It's just, it's fun. Everybody's saying something fun. I make fun of myself every day. I'll post pictures of me with my hair. I don't take myself serious. I'm not worried that my hair's out of place. I wake up sometimes, I got bedhead. I'll take a photo and put it on Twitter. I don't care. I mean, I'm not Brad Pitt. I'm not trying to impress anybody.
I've seen those pictures. Not that I stalked or anything, but I have seen them.
Right. So Jody, you've seen those photos. I'm in a bad.
Of course I
have.
Of course I have. I'm like.
I actually posted that picture once with me in the bathtub. I did. I did that once, and it was funny as hell. I just got my full tub going, and I sat in the bathtub, and I took a picture of myself naked in the bathtub and posted it on Facebook.
Wait, when was this? I missed that. Wait, what?
That was a couple months ago I did that.
I missed that. Where was I?
You did. I don't know. You were probably in your bathtub rubbing one off.
I probably was. Damn it.
But I believe Facebook took it down, so
they probably
it wasn't appropriate, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the tub with little suds on my head. I didn't show anything. I just was just on top of my head.
No.
But
I didn't show anything either. I just took from my stomach up. I didn't, my.
No, I didn't go that far. I just, top of my shoulders up. I didn't.
I don't know. When I
the reason
mine from the up, they never take it down.
Yeah. Then a friend of mine came into my apartment when I first got separated, and I was living in Jersey, and he had the key to my place. He comes in, I'm out cold on my couch, and he took a photo, and I thought it was funny because I had my AC/DC pajamas on, and a T-shirt and hugging a pillow.
Yeah.
And so I posted that picture. It's just fun stuff. Fans love that stuff. It just shows that I'm not.
They do.
I try not. I don't come across as an unapproachable guy. I don't consider myself a TV person. I consider myself a guy that's on a TV show.
You come across
as
a super normal, super approachable guy, and I am so sure that that's what. I mean, all the fans love that about you, and I see how much on your page you interact with the fans all the time. I mean, you really do all the time.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's part of. I consider it part of my job. Not that I consider interacting with fans a job, but how do you ignore fans that have watched your show every week? I mean, I just I don't.
Well,
to me,
if it wasn't for the fans, you wouldn't have the show that you have. It would have gotten canceled.
Exactly.
Yeah, and there's people that do.
Owe them that gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. And there's people that even people that send me messages. I talk to people. I answer people. I like to meet people. But there's people that completely ignore their fans and never talk to them. Just blow them off all the time. And it's not a way to keep that going. It really gives fans warm and fuzzy feeling.
There's some people that charge $10,000 just to do a public event to hang out with that is designed to hang out with their fans.
I know.
I think that's crazy.
Yeah, I've been on. I did a lot of security work on TV sets and not TV sets, but on the streets, movie sets, and I'm talking about big name stars. Like from Jennifer Lopez to Pacino, Nero to,
oh wow,
you name it, I've done them, and I saw how some people can act and think how disgusting that is. And I'm like, you're fans, Don't, you take yourself a little bit too friggin' serious. Knock it off, And I told that to one guy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention names, but I told him you're a jerk off, right to his face. I said, you're nothing but a jerk off. I don't know why people pay to go see you. And he looked at me like, how dare you say that to me? You're nothing but a lowly security guy working on set. And, he didn't say nothing to me because he basically got in his face. Because he cursed out a fan that was just trying to get a quick picture.
Oh wow! Oh, that's a shame.
And I'm like, you're a jerk off. And for me, it's and this is we're not talking about a B, C, D. We're talking about an A-list. This is somebody that is still in big time now.
Yeah.
And
sure. That's mean.
I can care less. Yeah, I can care less. But like really, and it wasn't like it was an annoying fan. This was just a young girl that wanted a photo. Just stop for 2 seconds because I went to go grab the camera from her to try to take the photo. He's like, I don't have time for this. Leave me alone. And he walked away. I'm like, all right.
2 seconds to take a photo and maybe shake her hand, and then walk away.
It's a shame.
It doesn't cost. Yeah. Doesn't cost.
It doesn't. I had somebody at I'm not going to say who it was, but at a con event that we went to not too long ago, I actually paid like $3,000 to take my daughter to this event that we went to, and I actually had one of the handlers for one of the stars at that event. My daughter took a selfie at the event with one of the young stars who she was crazy about. She just wanted to take a selfie with him, and he posed for it with her. And it came out blurry, and she wanted to take another one with him. And anyway, his handler ripped her camera, my daughter's camera, out of her hand and deleted it right out of her camera. And I couldn't believe it. It was the rudest thing I've ever seen. And anyway, the people that run those cons are friends with me on Facebook, so I'm not going to mention who they are. I'm not going to be rude about it, but they knew who they were. And And it was a horrible thing. I paid a lot of money to go to their con, and I could trash them, but I won't, and because I don't do that. I'm not like that. But I just thought it was horrible. It was a horrible way that they treated her. She's just a kid. She was just a kid that wanted to take a picture, and they should have never done that to her. You know, we paid
Right.
a ton of money to be there.
If that was my kid and I was right next door, I would have smacked that fucking manager right in his head.
Yeah.
Jay, $3,000 I paid.
me.
I took her. I drove her to Atlanta. I drove her to Atlanta. We stayed at the Marriott. This wasn't too long ago. It was like last year. You know, it was a big thing for her, a big thing. So it was horrible that they did that, and they didn't, you know, care. You know, and I complained. They didn't care. So never again.
Yeah, but you know what? Your daughter's always going to remember that. That's the sad.
She will.
You know, like you know, instead
Yeah.
of. But it is what it is. You know, I was crushed as a kid because I grew up going to the Garden, going to concerts. And,
the Garden, yeah.
You know, Madison Square Garden. And we used to, get hot tickets and we used to go in. And I was a fanatic Kiss fan growing up. And
me too.
And I finally met Gene Simmons as an adult. I did. And it turns out he's an asshole. You know, it turns out he's an asshole. Yeah. And it kind of just, he crushed me. I was like, wow, you know, you're an asshole. But it is what it is. And, you know, I'll never forget that. But I'm thinking, it's a good thing that didn't happen to me as a kid because as an adult, you deal with it differently. But if I would have been 13, 14 years old when I was going to those concerts, and that happened, he acted that way then, I don't know how I would have reacted to that, you know.
Wow. And he was an asshole, huh? I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I met Paul Stanley as an adult down in Bal Harbor Shops in Miami, and they were playing the Super Bowl down there years ago. And you know what? He was as nice as day is long. As nice as the day is long. I have a picture with him. You know, he gave me his autograph, and there's a wonderful picture of me like pressing my boobs up against him with the biggest smile on my face. It was awesome. But
you take any opportunity you can to press your boobs up next to anyone.
Oh my God! No one else is pressing.
It's like, oh shit, so strange to feel that.
Shopping. Listen to this. He was shopping in Saks Fifth Avenue. No one recognized him. He has like a ball cap on and his hair through the back of it. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Paul Stanley. And I'm like stalking him across the store because I was a little younger than I am now. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm with my friend. No one knows it's Paul. And they're like, no, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is. They're like, no, it's not. I'm like, oh my God, it is. Because I'm such a fan, So I'm like watching him. Anyway, I was very, I gently approached him and said, hello, Mr. Stanley, excuse me, would you mind? I was very respectful, and he didn't care. He couldn't have cared at all. He was super nice guy.
And that's what he's supposed to be. I tell fans all the time, if you see me, come up and say hello. I'll get messages. Oh, I think I saw you in Walmart. Was that you online paying for stuff? I'm like, yeah. Oh, I was so afraid to say hello. I didn't know if it was. I'm like, are you kidding me? Don't be stupid. Come and say. I have no problem with fans coming up to me, unless you're,
that's proof that you're a real dude. You're a low down real dude. You were shopping at Walmart.
Yeah,
no more real than that, my friend. No more real than that.
I used to shop at Bed Bath & Beyond, but I have an ex-wife, so now I shop at Walmart. So it's what it is.
He wasn't shopping at Gucci. He wasn't shopping at some designer clothing store.
No.
He was at a fucking Walmart, everyone. A Walmart.
Yeah. That's it.
That's me. If I need something, especially the ones open 24 hours, you may see me there at 2 o'clock in the morning. Something.
Oh, that's me. Totally me. I like 2 o'clock in the morning for several reasons. Well, 2 reasons. One, it's always easy to get in and out of Walmart at 2 a.m. Always. You're in there, you get what you got, and you get the fuck out. No big deal. And 2, all the freaks are in Walmart at 2 a.m. So it's a lot of entertainment. A lot of entertainment at 2 a.m. at the local Walmart.
It's so true. Do you ever
it's entertainment, at the same time.
Oh my God, it's so
and that's when the titty bars let off their clothes, so all the topless dancers they're all shopping at Walmart at that time too. So you can get a prostitute and look at someone who's cross dressing.
I was going to say, Jay, I know you're all about getting in and out of the freaks at Walmart at 2:00 in the morning. That is for sure. Oh, my God. That's so true, though. Always, whenever I go to Walmart late at night, you always see those kids that are high coming out of Walmart with snacks at like 2:00 in the morning. It's so true.
They're getting the munchies.
That's it. I'm always looking at the kids coming out of there that are like 20, and I'm like, oh, my God, those kids are so high. Like, whenever I go there that late at night, that's what I'm thinking. I'm looking at them, and I'm like, oh, my God, those kids are so high every time. And I just laugh. laugh, you know. Yeah, it's true.
It's all good. I mean, it's funny because, I'll get looked at like, what are you doing in Walmart? I'm like, why would I be in Walmart? Yeah. What's the matter with Walmart?
Who doesn't go there?
We sometimes, go there. I shop where I can get stuff. I can get, I'm not all about, I can only shop in certain locations,
Nah.
Get the hell out of here.
That's cool, though.
To me,
that's actually fantastic.
Everybody goes
I
there.
tell you, I meet a lot of fans in where I'm living now. It's incredible. Like, I went to the eye doctor today, and there was a girl at work there was a big fan of the show. I mean, just everywhere I walk in the Fort Myers where I live now, it just seems like I keep running into a lot of fans, which is nice. Because when I lived in New York, nobody could give a shit who I was or where I was. But
that's true.
Here it's nice. I get to interact a lot with a lot of fans. I get to see them on the downtown. Because I'm right on the river, so I'm only like a mile and a half from the downtown area on the river, and so I spend most of my time there because I don't like to really cook for myself, so I wind up eating out a lot. But and it's it's touristy, so I get a lot of fans from all over the country that are down here on vacation and stuff, and I run into them a lot, which is fun.
Don't you find Fort Myers? It has that nice. It has a nice small town feeling to it, and it's you're close enough to also if you want to jet over to shift over to like Sarasota or go down to Naples.
Correct.
That's a nice area there. It really is.
Yeah, I didn't want something busy like New York. I did that my whole life. I was done with it. I didn't want to be. Because I could have went to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa. I wanted.
Oh, you don't want to be in Miami.
Small, I wanted something that was small enough that I wouldn't feel like it was hectic and crazy, but yet had everything I needed. And this place has everything. There isn't anything I don't need here. I mean, there's everything here.
No.
Plenty of shopping, plenty of restaurants, great beaches. So I'm pretty fortunate that way.
I never been to
Florida.
It's down there.
Yeah, it's a fun little city. I mean, there's a lot of good bars, and it's always happy hour from 1 to 7 downtown, which I think is fantastic.
Look, how many city bars are there? I like city bars. I have fun at it.
I don't go to. I tell you the truth. I don't go to city clubs. I don't go to gentlemen clubs. And it sounds bullshit, but I don't.
I don't like to call them gentlemen's club because you really don't see well-respected gentlemen in it.
I'm liking Steve even more. See, Steve doesn't go to titty bars. See, I knew I liked him. See?
So therefore, he will never see you in your profession then.
Hey now. Oh man, I mean, I'd have to. I don't think they want to see that.
You got to be quicker than that, Jody.
Oh no. Oh, ew. It's bad.
City bars are fun. I like going there and fucking with the gangsters. That's the best part about it. That's what I like.
I know you do. Oh wait, you didn't even tell Steve. Jay actually has an investigation coming up at a titty bar, which he's the only guy I know that could find an investigation at a titty bar. I don't know anyone else that does that.
That's a true story.
It's true. Yeah, it is true.
It's actually a very funny story. I went to go do an investigation with a friend of mine who recently got separated from his wife, and for the last 3 months he's been moping and running around like a little bitch with a skin knee and shit. So I pick him up and I say, all right, let's go on an investigation. So we go to this one house, which we got one of our regular investigations that we typically do, and we got a Jeep stuck in 3 feet of snow, which we had to kind of push him out, which kind of sucked. And then afterwards he's like, Jay, I'm not ready to go home yet. I said, okay, what do you want to do, man? He said, let's go to a titty bar. I said, all right, we'll go to a titty bar. Okay, so big deal. So we go to a titty bar, and the dancers are all doing their thing, dancing sexy and pressing their titties up next to everyone's faces and whatnot. And I'm actually ignoring the dancers, which is kind of odd. Everyone would assume that I'd be all in it. And sniffing it and all that other good shit. But I'm actually ignoring his answers and saying, dude, go over to my buddy. He needs it bad. I will pay you. Get it, suck his off somehow. Do something. You know? And one dancer actually took that offensive because, well, I'm a dorky-looking guy, and they assumed that would be their bread and butter, and I wasn't. So they got kind of offended over it. Well, anyway, I did manage to hook my buddy up, and he got a phone number. And the rest of the night, I'm sitting down talking to the owner about what I do, how I do it, so forth and so on. He's like, oh, man, I got a ghost in here. I was like, oh, man, really? I'll check it out. And I wound up getting an investigation at a titty bar.
That's incredible. You never know what your next case is going to happen, right?
That's right. And I think I'm the only investigating team that has investigated a titty bar. Or
crazy.
Going to.
That's crazy.
Well,
so, yeah. So, Steve, what's the weirdest case that you have coming up? Like, without giving away too much. I mean, I know you can't give away too much because, it'll be on your show next season, but what's the weirdest story coming up that we should be looking for?
Question. What I found interesting last season that we did, we had a lot of good cases last season. That hasn't aired yet. They will start airing in April. That's a tough question because what I consider
or like creepy.
Most people.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't consider anything creepy. For me, it's
okay. Nothing really creepy. All right. Well, what's just real interesting?
Not for me. I mean, we did an episode in Independence. Where was it? Warsaw, Illinois.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it was interesting because it involved, and I can't really give the whole thing away because
I know.
It involved the person who owned this place, this restaurant, who put a lot of money in trying to solve a double murder case that's unsolved from back in the 40s.
Oh, interesting. That is interesting.
We kind of butted heads on it. So I'm pretty sure that's going to make it to air. So
we'll see a little more footage. Okay.
Yeah. To me, it was. It's one of those cases where I was getting annoyed with stuff, and it came out. So
they're going to show us. We're going to see some of that then, maybe April or May. We're going to catch that. Do you think?
Yeah, that episode probably air sometime in May, I would think. It's hard to tell which episode they're going to put on. We did what we found interesting was we did Rose Hall in Jamaica, in the Montego Bay.
I saw that you. I think you posted that you were taking a trip down to Jamaica.
And that was the beginning of last year, and that'll probably be one of the first episodes on for the new season. And they weren't very happy with me when I was done because
really
I don't. Yeah, because it is. I don't.
I've been there down by Rose Hall.
Okay, well, the story they're telling is bullshit. So
really,
I
always wondered. I took a cruise and I went there and I toured Rose Hall. That's very interesting. I wondered about that. I wondered what you thought about that place.
It needs air conditioning. That's what I thought about it.
Well, yeah, it's hotter than hell. Of course, yeah. Beautiful down there. Yeah, hotter than hell.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but it's I've been to a lot of the islands. It's one of the more beautiful islands. We actually went cliff diving, which was pretty fun. The whole crew and I. And but that was an interesting case. I think people are really going to like the story behind that and how parts of three different stories were coming out and being told they were one thing, but they were something else. So I think that's going to be interesting. That case in Warsaw is going to be really interesting. Good fans are going to like that one a lot too. So we did a haunted movie theater, which is going to be really interesting. I think fans are going to like that one too. That should be out towards probably June. I would think. Then again, I can't guarantee when they're going to air stuff because we have no. We have nothing to do with that. We have no say-so in any of that. I know the fans get upset with us. They're like, oh, Steve, why there's no more episodes? And they cut the season in half. And I apologize to the fans, but
has nothing to do with us. We just
Oh, no.
that's a network thing. Yeah, it's a network thing, and they have their reasons for doing things. I can't say anything about it. I mean, I'm not in the business. That's their business. They own the show, so when they want to put us on, but there's a long time in between seasons, and again, I apologize for that to the fans, but again, there's nothing Amy and I can do about that. We got absolutely no say in that stuff. So,
have you ever investigated a location that just didn't make the cut to be on TV?
No, we've been very lucky. I got to say it's a good question because I get that question a lot. No, because our vetting is pretty intense. We vet really well. I mean, I won't go out to a location until I got to feel comfortable. And I have a series of questions that the producer, the beginning people will ask. Amy has a set of questions she wants asked that has nothing to do with giving away the case, but
right.
It has to do with, she knows her paranormal end of it, and I know the detective end of it. So we kind of have our little questions we want the beginning, the initial people that are, I call it triaging the case. Like if you went at the beginning, like taking the blood pressure and everything else. So I call it triaging the case. And we've been lucky. I got to say, we haven't done an episode yet where Amy didn't see something. Not that everything matches up, because that doesn't always happen. But we've been pretty lucky in 88 episodes now that we've vetted really well.
We got to try to get
that's
Amy
amazing. Yeah, I'd love to get her on. I sent her a message, but she hasn't gotten back with me. I don't know if she likes to do a lot of radio shows or not. But yeah, I'd love to have her on sometime.
Yeah, I mean that's an Amy. You'd have to talk to her about that. I mean,
yeah,
I do. I like the time. I do the radio shows because people want to hear what's going on. So if you're interested in having me on your show, of course.
Yeah, I know you do. I see that you're out there doing radio. So I don't really see her doing radio that much, Jay. So I don't know if she really likes to do them or not. I don't know. I'll have to try to ask her again.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Steve's been a great guest so far, so I'm actually kind of honored that to have on.
I interact a lot on your page.
What's that?
I interact a lot on your page, Steve. I don't really interact a lot on Amy's page as much as I do on your page. So, she doesn't know me. Well, I like Steve, so I'm a fan of Steve, so
Yeah,
I interact more with
fan of Steve.
I'm Steve.
Yeah, I'm always posting some goofy stuff on there. I mean, I have my personal page, obviously, and I got my show. I have the public image page, but and I try to keep the public image page pretty professional, and my personal page, I get goofy. I'm a goofy guy. I mean, I don't take myself serious. So yeah.
So I know a lot of these what I like to call paracelebs, which in reality, I'm sorry to say, they're not celebrities at all. And I'll tell you why. Let's just say you're Zach Bagans. Yeah. If you and Zach Bagans was in the Walmart and Brad Pitt walked in, who are people going to flaunt to?
Brad Pitt, of course.
Hey, now. It depends on who the people are. Now, come on.
It doesn't matter. You're automatically going to go to the pit, man. Personally, I fuck the hell out of Brad Pitt, if you want my honest opinion. He's a cool dude.
You're so mean about that.
They're not really celebrities, but they're cool. But what?
You're so mean about Zach.
What are you gonna do? That's because he's got a poor attitude. I picture him. This is what I picture him in 5 years from now. Well, not even. Probably 2 years from now. I picture him getting arrested, dealing at a fucking Walmart because he's broke and the shows went down the tunnel, and he's screaming at the reporters, "Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am?" This is what I picture for his future.
I don't know about all that. The guy's a pretty smart man, businessman here to me. But I've never met the man, so I have no comment about him. I mean, he's on my
he comes on before us. Listen, I don't knock anybody else's shows, but we don't.
No.
Our show's very different from a lot of paranormal shows out there.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
And I don't consider, people say, "Oh, you're the ghost cop," and that drives me absolutely batshit crazy. But I don't consider ourselves a paranormal show as much as it's a docudrama, because you're not just getting you're getting history. You're not just getting paranormal, and the paranormal
and you
you're getting
a little bit of forensics as well in there.
Yeah. I mean, and you're not getting a regular paranormal investigation. You're getting a physical medium who I can't, to this day, 5 years later, can't figure out how the hell she sees what she sees. It drives me crazy sometimes. I'm like, I sit at the table sometimes, like, what? How the frick did she get that?
I mean, look, Steve, it's like in marriage. Sometimes you just got to sit back and accept it.
Yeah. I mean, I do. Believe me, I wouldn't have done the show had I known if I had to be talking to doing it. I was approached to the show, and I was like, I'm not doing a paranormal show. And then when I met Amy and we did the first, they call it the lost episode on the, on the website. Don't ask me why they call it that, but it was the sizzle that we did. It was a double homicide, and she just, and there was 4 of the female mediums there, and they didn't impress me one bit. And I told the producer, I said, listen, I'll do the show if she's in it. If she's going to be part of it. And I said, because the other girls that were there didn't impress me whatsoever. So for me, I was like,
I had auditioned other ones. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Amy just nailed it, and and I was still like a little leery about, is this legit or not? And then I found out it was all legit. I knew she didn't know about anything, and I still shake my head to this day about that one case. It was like, that broke my cherry, so to speak, as far as dealing with mediums. Because I had a couple of psychics I used on 2 homicide cases I had, and they did absolutely nothing for me. What they did was they made my case harder than it was, because they just led me in the wrong path. But it is what it is. I mean, I would have done anything to solve a case, and if it meant getting a hold of a psychic, I did. So.
But we're running out of time, Steve, and as much as I'd love to continue to chat, which we'll probably continue to chat in the future, we definitely got to start wrapping it up. Let's give out some of your information, where people can contact you.
Okay, that'd be great.
When the next time you're going to be in a Walmart, maybe your fans want to meet you there, who knows. And if you want to talk to Jody about Bert, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm always in the downtown area in the cigar bar at French Connection. Actually, they can get me. I have 2 Facebook pages, but my personal page is pretty filled up. I can't accept any more friends on there. But that's Steve DeShavi - The Dead Files. That's my Facebook page. Twitter's at Steve DeShavi. Let me see, what else? That's about all I do. There's, like I said, if somebody, I can get private messages on that, on the public image page. I just can't friend anybody on that page. And the other thing is, if somebody's listening and they want to discuss a case, do not put it on social media. You got to private message me, and I'm only going to tell you to go to the Help Me Dead Files on the website to submit the case anyway. Because if Amy sees it, we can't go. That's it. If she gets any little bit of information on social media about a location, that's it. You're not qualified. We're not going to go to your location. Mm-hmm. Keep it simple. Just go to Help Me Dead Files at the Travel Channel's website for the show. You'll see a picture of me and Amy sitting at a reveal table. Underneath that, you'll see Help Me Dead Files. Click on that and you submit your case. We're there. The other thing is, if you're going to come on my Facebook page and ask me what's a shadow figure do and anything paranormal, I'm just going to tell you, ask Amy. I don't know. I don't answer paranormal questions, so I don't pretend to know anything about the paranormal. I would never give anybody an answer on a paranormal question, because I would never want to give people false information. I don't know anything about it. If you want to know how to research your house, I have no problem. Give me a shout. Hit me up on Facebook. Twitter's kind of hard. Twitter, you can only put so much information in. They only give you so many characters. But reach out. April 25th, Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Travel Channel, the season premiere. This new season coming up is going to be pretty incredible. It's probably so far probably the best season we've filmed so far, and it starts airing in April.
Excellent. And if anyone on the 25th, April 25th, if you're getting ready to warm up to watch Death Files and you have nothing to do between 2 and 4 p.m. and you're in the New York area, stop by Smalley's Inn in Carmel, New York, and come and meet me and maybe buy a copy of one of my books. I'll have my Rest in Peace and the new release People Mind, which will be available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks maybe. So you definitely want to do that. You can find me on Facebook. Just look up Jason Stanton. I've got the author page as well, author Jason Stanton, and you can check us out there. Then there's a Ghost Chat Radio fan page, everyone, where you can chat with me and Jody in the same one centralized location. And if you're lucky, Jody will send you a picture of her boobies.
Don't hold your breath.
And you can also go to www.authorjasonstanton.com, and you can read some of my blogs. And I'm going to be posting all my upcoming events for the year, so hopefully that'll be up soon. So that's my information. Jody, what about you?
Absolutely. You can find me on Facebook. Just add me. I've got 2 personal pages. Both of them are under Jody Smith, the Paranormal Diva. Jody's Jodie. Also on my professional page, the Paranormal Diva. You can also find me on Jody Smith, the Diva, or the Paranormal Diva on Twitter. I'm also, of course, on Google+, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. So I look forward to chatting with you at any of those locations. And if you do have any paranormal questions, definitely feel free to reach out to Jason or feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to talk paranormal or ghost chat with you anytime on the Ghost Chat Radio fan page or on my personal page. Jason will love to talk to you about it on his personal page, I'm sure. Any kind of shadow person questions that Steve was talking about, Jay will love to talk to you about that.
I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah.
So quickly before we go, Jody, I have to ask you this because I know a lot of listeners really want to know. Do you have dime-sized nipples or quarter-sized nipples or $half nipples?
Well, Jason,
I had to get that out.
Just say
I had to make my PR smack her head at least once tonight.
Let's just say there isn't enough time to go into that discussion tonight. And
that's it, huh?
Very, very nice. Leave it at that. And you would have had to be at Wurtsboro if you would have wanted to see all that on the Saints and Sinners balcony. Yeah. Exactly.
You have to go to New Orleans to check out her nipples, everyone. Throw her some beads, and she will
Channing Tatum. Channing Tatum does have that bar there, and flashing was available on the balcony. But if you weren't there, you probably missed it. But there might be pictures available, but how if I know where they are? But anyway, they will not be available on the Ghost Chat Radio fan page. And anyway, I love to meet the fans at any time. And we look forward to seeing you back here, same time from 9 to 11 next week on Tuesday night. And when we will have another great guest for you. And I am right now looking to see who our fantastic guest is for next week. Let's see. Next week, our fantastic guest is Doyle Goss and the ghost hunting team. They are investigating the Allegheny Asylum. So we're going to hear a lot about their team members and a lot about their investigation. So it's going to be a good time. I think we've got like 8 different members of their team calling in. So they're going to keep me pretty busy on the board. And hopefully we will not have a lot of technical difficulties happening next week. So thank you so much, all of you, for bearing with us tonight. We really appreciate that and you hanging in there with us. Steve, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited about the upcoming season of the Dead Files.
Thank you for having
me.
I appreciate it. Great time with you guys.
Thank you. And I will I'll continue to stalk your page, of course.
Be my guest. It's all good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
It's all pleasure, man. Chat with you soon.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Okay, bye.